Let me just tell you, the war powers. So many presidents, as you know, have gone and exceeded it. It's never been used. It's never been adhered to, and every other president considered it totally unconstitutional, and we agree with that.
There is a variety of kinetic action of the most serious kind, and we need Congress to oversee and approve or disapprove what's going on.
The president is right to reset the geopolitical stage, but Congress is going to have to sit down and say there's going to be a cost to this and have that conversation.
Well, this is the deadline, the war powers deadline, where Congress could be weighing in. The president sent a letter to Capitol Hill, to lawmakers, saying that essentially the ceasefire has been in place 2 weeks. It's been extended. And, quote, the hostilities that began February 28th have been terminated. As for the state of negotiations, here's what he said about that.
They want to make a deal, but I'm not satisfied with it, so we'll see what happens. Iran wants to make a deal because they have no military left, essentially, and they want to make a deal, but I'm not satisfied with it.
And Iran put forward another deal. Again, you hear the president's not satisfied with it. Where do we go from here? Let's bring in our panel. Fox News contributor Marc Thiessen, Kimberly Strassel, Fox News contributor as well, and Democratic campaign consultant Kevin Walling. Okay, Mark, you said in a peace 14 days and then a victory. What do you mean?
Yeah. Well, what I mean is that there were when the ceasefire started a couple of weeks ago, Admiral Cooper had about 14 days left to finish off the target list that President Trump assigned him. And then President Trump, what he very skillfully did is he had the ceasefire. He used the ceasefire to steam ships through the Persian Gulf to set up the blockade. He also used it to rearm. So we now have double the firepower that we did at the start of the campaign. And he also successfully used it to circumvent the War Powers Act by telling Congress that the operation had stopped. So there was a very smooth move with the ceasefire. But we've got to end this decisively. And I admire the president's patience, but he can have a victory in 14 days. All he has to do is launch Admiral Cooper to take out those targets that are left on the battlefield, open the Strait of Hormuz, and announce that we've achieved our military objectives. And then if the Iranians don't want to make a deal, then we can just keep the blockade as long as we want. And then he would have a decisive victory that he could take to the American people in November and say that this was worth doing.
I mean, Kevin, sounds good. Opening the Strait of Hormuz is a tough challenge. The Wall Street Journal on the Iran part says this: Iran is grasping for a solution to an American blockade it can't break. A growing camp of hardliners believe Iran has to take the military initiative and start a shooting war again to send oil prices soaring higher and increase the pressure on Trump. They argue the blockade goes beyond the sanctions Iran has faced down in the past and amounts to an act of war that must have a military response. I mean, that's kind of reading through the lines of Iran's thinking. What do you think?
Well, heaven help them if they strike any of our American forces there, especially of our destroyers and frigates in the area, because, again, I think the president will then respond with overwhelming force and destruction. I'm with Mark in that the blockade has been incredibly successful. I think we've stopped something like 40 or so flagged cargo ships thus far, wreaking total havoc on the Iranian economy. The inflation is massively outpacing the cost of their dollars. People, a million people out of work. And again, I think the hope is we'll see some of the protests that we talked about back in December, Brad, at the end of the year, with people taking to the streets to take on this regime. But you do know that there is a hardliner in charge of that Revolutionary Guard that is hell-bent on likely attacking us in the coming days as one of the options here, and we'll see how that process plays out.
Kimberly.
Yeah, I mean, I think one other element here, too, is the politics, and it really points to the importance of what Mark was saying about how there's going to be a benefit to this White House to getting this over and done with and taking some sort of action. The Iranian state of play, what they do over and over again is try to draw things out, delay it, and they are banking here that the longer this goes on, the less likely this administration wants to drag this toward the midterms, that the pressure will be too much on them, and that will cause them to back out. And I think the administration, it still has a window here where it can get this stuff done, but it gets harder and harder as they move farther forward, and the Iranians want that to be the situation.
Yeah, to your point, the polls, latest Washington Post ABC poll, overall 36% right decision on this military move, 61 mistake. But you can see the breakdown. Democrats overwhelmingly against, independents, and then Republicans, 79-19. This may have been some of the impetus for May Day rallies, but they said around the country, no work, no school, no shopping. Take a listen.
What do we want? Justice! When do we want it? Now!
Shout out to all of the students in our Chicago public schools and our educators that have declared this day of civic action.
When people come together, we can make our voices heard. No work, no school, no shopping.
This entire rally, this May Day, Friday, May 1st, is all about, this is an anti-capitalist, anti-Trump movement, and they're using our kids as political pawns.
All right, Mark, what do you think?
No work, no school, no shopping. That was the Democrats' COVID policy. As far as I recall, that's what they tried to do to all of America for the entire pandemic. But look, because of the learning losses in the pandemic, 21% of Chicago students are proficient in math and 27% are proficient in reading, which means that if the Chicago teachers wanted to have them read the Communist Manifesto, which apparently they do, they wouldn't be able to read it. So if you want to take the Soviet National Day off to March, go ahead, but you shouldn't be teaching American kids.
Kevin, you know, it seems like there's a lot of different messages on these signs. Kind of corralling that for Democrats into a power come November may be a challenge.
It certainly is a challenge, and Brett, you rightly point out all the different signs and messages that you're seeing. You know, May Day protests go back to the late 1800s. There's a proud tradition of that within the American labor movement, protesting for an 8-hour workday. And you saw a lot of this coverage couched in that economic populism argument, something that the president was actually effectively co-opting during his multiple races as becoming an economic populist. But clearly there's energy in the streets. It's good to see that the vast majority, if not majority, of these protests are remaining peaceful, but it should give Republicans, I think, pause seeing these kind of protests across the different spectrum, talking about the war, talking about income inequality, talking about immigration. To see that kind of energy, we'll see how that plays out come November.
Kimberly?
Well, you know, the other question is this really the message they want to go into the election with? I mean, they got thumped on this in 2024. Supposedly they were having a rethink. Now they're right back out there, and this is the main face of the Democratic Party again.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.